Good evening, everybody. Erica's Secondary Machine. This evening I'm out in the shop, puttering around. I just finished putting the Enco on top of the base that I built today. Got the holes drilled and got it all bolted on there. So I built this today out in the other shop, and it came out really well. So I went to my local steel supply today to buy, this is 1 3/4 inch by 120 wall, which is exactly what I was after. I don't buy a lot of this. It's very rare that I buy it. But I go in there to get a stick of it. If you've never bought materials like that, generally something like that, it's going to come in 20-foot sticks. So I go in to buy just a full 20-foot stick, figuring that I had kind of run the numbers, and I figured, I think I'm just barely going to squeak by. If I'm smart with the material, I should be able to build the entire thing out of a 20-foot chunk, which is exactly like I ended up with, like maybe an extra 8 inches, I think. But what surprised me was when I went to pay for it, and the guy said it was going to be $190 for 20 feet. And I'm like, Jesus, does that come with lube? That's a lot of money. And so the guy was like, well, yeah, no, that's right. And the longer I stood there, the more I was like, you know what? That couldn't possibly be right, man. I'm like, dude, that's almost $10 a foot. And so along came another lady behind the counter, and she's asking what's going on. And I'm like, oh, well, the price on this. She's like, oh, let me look it up. And so she checks into it, and sure enough, yeah, it's supposed to be about $3 a foot. So long story short, this ended up costing me about $73 to build, which is, actually when I was going in there, I was thinking, it'd probably be 80, 90 bucks. So I was, that's about what I was expecting to pay. So anyway, so the cart that I had this sitting on was really wobbly. I'm a lot happier now because this, when you turn the wheels, it doesn't shake back and forth and stuff. So it's a lot better than what it was. I've got a couple of pieces of this concrete type of block back here. There's 2 of those that that lathe, the Atlas, was sitting on. They will probably go underneath of this at some point. I'm finding that it really helps. I'm never going to be happy with this floor, but it really helps to spread some of the weight out. You can see what I did over here on the closing. That helped a lot because this machine was shaking around quite a bit too. And it's just the particle board, it flexes and stuff quite a bit. So glad to have gotten this accomplished. I thought about running it through my powder coating oven, but then I was going to have to figure out how to get this heavy piece from the spray booth into the oven without hitting it or anything, and it was just going to be a pain in the ass. Thought about painting it, but I didn't want to wait on dry times. I'll probably paint this at some point just in place, whatever parts of it I can get to. Or maybe I won't. It'll be a really easy project to put off, quite honestly. If I get into painting something else in the shop, I'll probably do it then. But in the meantime, this is fine. It doesn't wobble around and stuff anymore, which is nice. Another thing, oh, look at this. My little machine shop catalog came. I've never had one of these. This came in the mail yesterday. I actually ordered a D-bit grinder from them on Black Friday, and they were gone for the weekend when they got back, so they said they wouldn't fulfill the order until after they figured out what the freight shipping was going to be. It's going to be over $250, and so I ended up just canceling it. I feel like those D-bit grinders, they're just overpriced to begin with. Like, they just cost too much. I don't understand why they cost so much. So when I look at one, actually, I guess they weigh like 160 pounds. So, I've never seen one in person, so maybe I'm wrong about it. But I spend so much money on tools and stuff. I just was like, you know what? It's a want. It's not a need right now. I'll get one at some point. I was going to get a good deal on it because of Black Friday. But yeah, I just ended up saying, you know what? Enough is enough. I've got plenty of other projects out here right now. If I was out of projects, it'd be a different deal. I'd probably order it. So anyway, speaking of projects, I wanted to talk about this Braun 5500 lumen LED shop lights that you can get over at the Harbor Freight. These things are awesome. If you haven't gotten any of these, total game changer. When you're coming from just the normal everyday shop lights, man, these things are so bright. As I age, I'm into my 50s now. there's never enough light. And so, you know, at $22 a piece, as you can see, I've got a couple of them already up here. They're linkable, which is nice. I don't have these two linked, but this new third one that I'm going to hang up right above this bench here, I'm going to come across with the link, as you can see. I don't know what happened. I would swear they used to come with these hooks, but I bought 2 more of these in the last couple of days, and neither of them came with hooks. I put another one in my powder coating area. Boy, did it make this last batch of boxes, being able to see what I'm doing in the powder coating area made a world of difference. But I just wanted to talk about these really quick because at $22, like if you've got areas in your shop that could use a little more light, you can't beat these, man. They are awesome. And so I thought I would show really quick. Let me grab a hold of this and I'll show you what the difference is. So right now, this area is being lit by those 3 bulbs, which are just about completely ineffective. Watch the difference when I hold this up where it's going to be at. And let's see if you can see just how much better the lighting is having this up here as opposed to not having it up there. Actually, I guess on the phone, it doesn't really show up all that well. But believe me, in person, world of difference. And you know, like I was saying, you know, as I age, there just is never enough light or magnification for that matter. So anyway, if you haven't tried a couple of these, run out to your Harbor Freight and grab a couple of them because I'll tell you what, they really make a big difference. I've got a computer station inside the house, and also my laundry room isn't very well lit. I think they're both going to get a couple of these also. And I've got a bunch of these same ones hung out in the main shop. I've probably got, I don't know, maybe like 8 of them. Once I discovered how good these are compared to the old style bulbs, I've just slowly been like switching everything over. So anyhow, I don't think there's anything more to say with this particular update. Oh, I wanted to talk about one thing here really quick with the mill. I think this is going to be the machine that I keep, but what I wanted to talk about is the oilers on this. So it's got cup oilers that belong right here. There's another one on that side, and then 2 more cup oilers on the back. But when I put this on for the DRO, I don't have room to put the cup oiler back on there. And so I've got the little push-in ball oilers coming from eBay. I'm hoping I got the right size. I kind of took a half-ass measurement here. They're press in, and this is threaded, so might be a little bit of drilling going on, but I'm going to swap at least the back to the ball type oilers. And the thing is with these cup oilers, let me see if I can show you what I'm talking about. So these little cup oilers, the thing with these being on the front of the machine, after I took it apart and realized how the oiling system works on this, it's actually relying on the level of the oil itself. If you look, you can see it. If it's all the way full, it's just barely above the top of this. And that just barely gives it the seeping action that's required to get some oil into that way. And so I think I'm going to switch all 4 of them to ball oilers where I actually can get back there with a can and actually force oil to where I want it to go instead of having to rely on just kind of hoping that some of it's getting up in there. So anyway, those are on the way. The new wheel for the lathe is still on the way. What else is on the way? Oh, the rebuild book is supposed to get here. Actually, I think today. It may come this evening, possibly, on how to rebuild South Bend lathes. I'm looking forward to thumbing through that. But apart from that, the motor is still an ongoing thing. I'll come back to this. That's probably going to be next. But I think that's about it for this update. I didn't put this on the concrete. I was going to say, the reason being is that I'm going to take the head off of this. I'm going to build the riser for it. It needs a riser. I'm thinking about 5 inches. The plans that came with this machine to do the riser is calling for doing 6. I think if I just can regain the height of the vise that I use, will make this a really serviceable machine, but it definitely needs to be done. So this is going to be picked up and taken off here pretty quick. So I didn't want to jump the gun on putting the base down underneath of it. And this still may not be where this ends up living. I need to get the clousing cleaned up and up for sale. It's going to leave here at some point here, probably pretty quick. So if you're interested in that machine and you're anywhere near the Washington area, you can message me. So, or leave a message below, and I will make sure I get you my email address. So anyway, Eric with Secondary Machine. I will talk to everybody later on.